And the next thing would be domains, but I already showed you how to add a domain. So we can go into preferences. Here you can also edit your title and meta description. Like I said, that's SEO. Basically, you describe to Google what your store is about and who you are, so Google knows how to list you. I would actually recommend that you Google title and meta description online shop once and inform yourself what it's about, because it's a topic that's not unimportant, but it's SEO, so it's a complete another topic. So I won't go into that, but just make sure that you also look into that. Then you can add your Google Analytics and Facebook pixel. I also won't show you how to do that, but it's pretty simple. Simply Google Analytics Shopify or Facebook pixel Shopify, and you will find a ton of tutorials showing you how to add those. Then we also have our password protection. If we go on this store, you will see that our store is still password protected. That means if a customer goes onto your store, they can't enter it because there's a password over it. This has two reasons. The first reason is the store isn't ready, so it's also better that it's still password protected, because otherwise maybe a customer would stumble upon your store and already buy, even though you're not ready. And the second reason is that we haven't picked a plan yet. Shopify wants you to pick a plan and enter your credit card information before you can unlock your store and really start selling. This doesn't mean that you instantly have to pay. You still have your 14 days trial, or in my case I only have 11 days left. So in this time you can start selling for free. But afterwards you already have a plan picked, so that's their intention to it. But like I said, this doesn't mean you have to pay instantly. You can also edit your credit card information and pick a plan, test it out for 14 days, and if you then don't like it, simply cancel and you'll get your money back. So I will actually choose a plan now, so I click on pick a plan, or you can also select the plan down here. Okay, here we have 3 different plans available. The basic Shopify, the Shopify and the advanced Shopify plan. I would recommend choosing the basic Shopify plan and later on upgrading to the normal Shopify plan. The main difference is the amount of staff accounts you can add and your credit card rates. In the past, I once calculated the numbers when you should upgrade, so I will add them somewhere on the screen right now. You can do the math too, if you simply work with that, but in most cases you can simply stick to basic plan and later on go to the advanced. So I will just click on choose this plan, and here you can decide whether you want to pay yearly, every 2 years, every 3 years, or every 30 days. I choose every 30 days because I'm going to delete that store afterwards, but you'll obviously save some money if you pay in advance. This is probably blurred right now because my credit card information is in here, but simply fill it in here and then you can click on start plan. On the right side, you will also see when you will first be billed. In my case, it's still some days away. And then I click on start plan. Perfect. Now we can go back into our online store settings once again. So I go onto online store and preferences. And down here, I could disable the password. So I can go on here, save it, and then our store will be ready to sell. But since the store isn't ready yet, I will enable the password once again. And then we can go into the settings down here. Now this is going to be really fun because we have some settings to do. But this is all part of the process, so let's just do it. And by the way, I wanted to mention that once again. I'm just showing you how I build my stores. Obviously, you will have some different preferences, and that's completely fine. I'm just going to show you some of the basics, I would say. And Shopify is used by millions, or at least a few hundred thousands of merchants. So if you want anything else, just Google what you want and you will find an answer to everything. So you can really be creative and do the things you want. Let's start by going into the general settings. Perfect. Store details. These are just some details, so you can change your store name. This is your account email and customer email. You can change your customer email, for example, so your customers will see another address if you email them. Then here's some personal data, which I probably blur out right now. Here are some standards and formats. These simply have to be set to your standards and formats. For me, it's set to Berlin. Unit is metric system. Maybe you're in America, so you can choose the imperial system. Then default rate unit is kilogram. You can also set it to gram. It's always just your preferences. I would just choose kilogram. Prefix, the hashtag is okay. Store currency is euro. That's great too. So if you change anything, just go to save. So you could also choose some other currencies. Then I go back. And next are payment providers. So we can go in here. And this is a very important step because you have to choose your payment providers wisely. I would suggest using Shopify Payments, so you can click on complete account setup and then fill in this list right here and complete your account setup. And I would also suggest that you use PayPal. Right now it's set to PayPal Express checkout. In case you don't have a PayPal merchant account, it doesn't matter because Shopify will automatically choose the email that you signed up with as your PayPal account's email. And after you got your first payment, PayPal will email you and then you can set up everything under this email. So that's pretty easy. But in case you already have a PayPal account, you can go to edit, then deactivate it. Click on deactivate. And then you can choose select PayPal method. Right now, because I'm in Germany, it's set to PayPal Express checkout. Maybe you have another PayPal method, but I will just go on there. Then you can click on activate and it will redirect you to PayPal. Here you simply have to fill in your PayPal email, go to next. Right now it's set to German because it's my PayPal account. Fill in some information and you can set it up very easily too. Great. You could also add some other payment methods. So for example, Amazon Pay, and here's some other methods too. So you could take Bitcoin or GoCoin or some of these others. Now I will just leave it at these two. And then we can also choose the payment authorization method. Right now it's set to automatically capture payment for orders. I would actually choose manually. So you always have to capture the payment from your orders. It isn't hard. You simply have to click on 1 or 2 buttons for every order. But it makes things a little easier because sometimes you maybe don't want to accept an order because it maybe seems fraudulent or weird. So you can still not take the money and don't take this order. This makes things a little easier. But later on, if you maybe get a lot of orders, which I hope for you, you can choose automatically. So I can click on save. Perfect. Now we can go back into our settings. And the next thing is checkout. So I click on checkout. And here we have some different settings. So customer accounts, we can disable them, make them optional or required. I would recommend choosing optional because it always leaves some space for your customers. Here you can choose whether your customers can check out using either their phone number or email. I personally always just used email, but if you want to have their phone number too, you could also choose your phone number. That's always just your store's preferences. Form options. So in your checkout, there will be a form where the customers have to fill in their data. So you can choose between requiring only the last name or requiring first and last name. Company name. In case you also want to sell to companies, you can make it optional. In case you only want to send to companies, you can also make it required. Or maybe you don't even want to sell to companies, so you can make it hidden. That's always just preferences. Address line 2, I will keep it optional. Maybe someone needs it. And shipping address, phone number, you can make it optional, you can make it required. I always had it hidden because I never needed their phone number, but you could add it in there. So order processing. If you check this box, the shipping address will be the billing address by default. I personally like that option because 1, it reduces the number of fields that is required to check out, which will make it easier to buy, so you have a higher conversion rate. And second, the billing address can still be edited, so that's no loss for the customer. Then you can require a confirmation step, so the customer must review their order details before purchasing. I always would leave that checked because otherwise you will have a lot of customers that filled in some wrong information and you send the package to a wrong person. You can also enable address auto-completion. For me it worked pretty good, at least when I tested it. Maybe if you are in some rural areas it doesn't work as great, but always just your preferences. I can tell you which one to choose there. Here you can also choose whether you automatically want to fulfill your order after it has been paid. Like in the payment process, I would not automatically choose that because you still want to look out for some fraudulent orders. So I will leave it at do not. Here you can also choose to automatically achieve the order after it has been fulfilled and paid. This can be checked. That's completely okay. Here's another option, email marketing. Can be really important and really effective. So if you check this box, there's a sign up option for your email list at the checkout. And if you also check this box, it will also be pre-selected. In some countries, it is forbidden to choose pre-selected, so I would maybe uncheck that. But having an email list can work very well, so I would suggest having one. Abandoned checkouts. You will probably have a lot of abandoned checkouts. So what you could do is automatically send them an email, which will be done if you choose this box. And then you can decide who you want to send it to. So either email subscribers or anyone who abandons your checkout. I would definitely not choose this one because I'm pretty sure that in most countries you are not allowed to do that. I mean, it is effective, but I wouldn't do it because it can be very expensive if you are caught. And then you can also decide when to send it. So maybe after 10 hours. I would just leave it at that. And here's the checkout language. In case you switch the language of your store, you can make sure that the checkout language is the same language as your store's language. And then we can click on save. Then we can go back into the settings. Now let's go into shipping. Up here is our shipping origin, which will probably also be blurred because it's my personal data. Then we have shipping rates at checkout. By default, Shopify creates two shipping rates. First, your domestic shipping rate. In my case, it's only in Germany, but in your case, it will be your country. And then there's the rest of the world. In case you only want to send to your own country, you can go to rest of the world, click on edit, and then just delete that whole zone. Click on delete shipping zone, and it's deleted. Perfect. Then we have our domestic shipping zone. We can just go into edit here and edit some of this. Perfect. Zone name, domestic. It doesn't really matter what you call it because your customers won't see it anyway. Then we have countries. Germany. Maybe I want to add another country. So in my case, Austria. And then I can click on add. Perfect. And now we have Austria and Germany. And then you have two options. Price-based rates and rate-based rates. We could add a price-based rate. So I can click on add rate. And I can call this one, oh, and this is important, this will be seen by your customers, so I can call this one standard shipping, no, free shipping over 50 euros. Minimum order price, now we have to set it to 50, and no limit to the top, of course. Then we have to click on free shipping rate, because it's free shipping, and then we can click on done. Perfect. Then we can add another rate. This will be standard. Minimum order 0, maximum is 50 because otherwise it will be free. And this one will cost $4.99. And then I can click on done. Perfect. And now we have two rates in here. Maybe you want to set your shipping prices after the rate of the products that you're selling, which is totally understandable. Then I wouldn't recommend using price-based rates, but rate-based rates. And then you can either edit them or add your own rates. So you can make a minimum order rate of, for example, 0 kilos and maximum order rate of 2. Name this one free and make it free. Then we can click on done. Then we would have to edit this one to 2 to 5. Done. So that's the way you can edit those. For this to be logical, we have to delete one of these because both can be applied. So I will just delete rate-based rates in here. And then we can click on save. And now that we saved it, we can go back into settings and shipping. And we could add another shipping zone, because now we're only shipping to Austria and Germany. So we can click on Add Shipping Zone, call this one, for example, we want to ship to Europe. Countries, we can click on Add Countries, and then we can choose the countries we want to send them to. I will just scroll down until there's Europe, then I choose Europe, and I can click on Add. And now all these countries are added. Perfect. This time I want to have a price-based rate again. Free shipping over 50 euros. Minimum order price 50, maximum no limit, free shipping done. And the second one, standard shipping. Maximum 50. Rate amount 6.99. Done. Perfect. Then we can click on Save. Then I go back to shipping. And if we scroll down here, we could also add some pre-saved packages. I never really used it, but it can save some time. Here we have packing slips, but I won't go into that because that's just a bunch of code and you can maybe destroy some things if you don't know what you're doing. So I wouldn't recommend going in there. Then we have additional shipping methods. Here we could add some FedEx or UPS apps that will calculate the cost for us, but this isn't included in the basic Shopify plan. And here you could also add your custom fulfillment service. So if you use an external fulfillment service, you can fill in the email and the name, and then it will be forwarded. So that's the shipping settings, and then we can go back into the general settings and go to taxes. If we check this box, taxes will be included on all of your prices. So if you want to charge taxes, you should definitely check this box. If you're not from the US but want to charge taxes on your shipping rates, you have to check this box too. But if you're in the US, it will be made automatically. As you can see here, the country tax rates are set to 0, but in my case, the exception is Germany because they know that I'm in Germany. It will probably be at 0 for your country too. So what I would recommend is going into every single country that you're selling to and then setting the right country tax. That's also why I recommend that you should maybe start by selling in your home country and later on expanding to worldwide, because things like taxes can get quite complicated, especially if you sell a lot, because then you also have to pay taxes in other countries. So after you did all this, you obviously have to go to Save. So that's already how you can enable your taxes. And in case you sell digital goods, you have to click on Enable here to enable the European digital goods VAT tax rates. This is basically that you always, no matter how much, have to pay your VAT in the state that you're selling to. So maybe you should look into that or click on Learn More if you're selling digital goods. So I can go back to settings, and the next thing is locations. Here you can manage the places you stock your inventory in, which will be pretty good, especially if you're growing a lot and have multiple locations. Right now, this is only my shipping origin, but you could add a new location here. Call this one whatever. This example is called Paris Warehouse. Fill in the address and then you can save it. I will go back and back out of here. And the next thing is notifications. So we can click on there. And this is actually pretty great. After you confirmed an order, this will be sent automatically to your customers, or a cancellation or a refund, and all of these. So what we can do is go in here and check if you like it. Maybe you don't like something that's in there, and then you can change it. So the email subject is order name confirmed. Maybe I want my store's name in front of order. And here in the email body, you have the text. Now you can't delete everything and simply write in there, because this is code. All of this in these brackets is code. So we can only change what is real English text. You could also translate it to your language, but since this is an English store, this isn't necessary. but I actually recommend that you don't do too much, because it's really easy to destroy this code and then it won't work anymore. So I click on leave page. But you could do this with all of these. Great. Here you also have order notifications. So every time a new order comes in, you will get a new mail to your email address. You can also enable desktop notifications, which I recommend because it's pretty cool. Imagine you simply browse the internet and all of a sudden there's a pop-up that says that you just earned money. So if you want that, you can click on enable desktop notifications. I would also recommend that you install the Shopify app, because you will always see your orders when you're on the go. And the app makes a pretty cool sound every time you do a sale. Yeah, so that's these settings. Then I can go back in here. And the next thing is files. So we can click on there. The only file I have uploaded right now is my background image. In case you want to upload more files, you can go on upload files. But this section isn't as important. So we can go back. And then we can go to sales channels. We only have one sales channel now, which is the online store. You could add another sales channel and then choose one of these. For example, point of sale, Facebook, Instagram. You can install a buy button on multiple websites or blogs. You can sell via the messenger. These are all unavailable, but in case you have a higher plan, I think you could use these. So this is a pretty cool option too. I will just stick to the normal online shop, but in case you want to sell via your Facebook shop or something like that, you can add a new sales channel here. Then I can go back into the settings. And the next thing is accounts. So I click there. Here's just some basic overview. So since when are we members, our current plan, our account status. Here they want us to upgrade our plan, and then there are accounts and permissions. So right now there's only one account, mine, but you could, in my plan, add 2 staff accounts. So you could click on add staff account, fill in the data, and if you want, you can check this bar and they have full permission on your online shop, or you could uncheck it and then you can edit the permissions they have. This is pretty great for your employees. Then we can go back. We can also go in here and edit the store status. You could hire a Shopify expert, which can be pretty good too. What is also interesting in here is pause your store or close your store. So if you want to take a break from your store but not close it entirely, you can pause it and then you have to pay a lower fee every month. You could also close your stores. So maybe you say after these 14 days that you don't like it, which is completely fine. Then you can simply go into your account settings and then close your store. Then there's also billing. This is just your billing information, which I probably blurred out right now, and your account summary. So every bill you received before. In case you have credit, you will also see it in here. And then there's legal. Here you can manage your store's legal pages, so your refund policy, your privacy policy, terms of service, legal notice, and shipping policy can be filled in here. Or you can use a template, which is probably not that safe, so I would recommend going to a lawyer, but that's always up to you. And then we simply have to click on save. Perfect.